In proof number 16, I'm going to start the way I start all my proofs. I'm going to look at what I'm trying to find. I'm going to mark that on the picture. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. Now I'm going to mark it in purple because I don't know that yet, and I'm going to go back and mark everything that I do know in green. So I'm going to start with my given information. I know that RV is parallel to ST. So RV is parallel to ST. And right now I'm thinking, well, if I have parallel lines, I've probably got some corresponding, some alternate interior, or some alternate exterior. And as I look, I do notice that angle 2 and angle 1 are corresponding, so they should be congruent. And angle 4 and angle 3 are also corresponding, so they should be congruent. Now I'm marking them different because I don't know that 1 and 4 are the same, or that 3 and 1 are the same. They're different sets of corresponding, so I have to mark them differently. But then I'm going to look at my next set of given information. QS is congruent to QT. So QS is this entire side, and QT is this entire side. So what I like to do is draw that triangle without all the stuff in between. So I've got QS and I've got QT marked the same. And now what I'm looking at is a triangle that has two congruent sides, which means it's isosceles, and if it's isosceles I can draw a cross and say that these two angles in the corner, angle S and angle T, have to be the same. And if you look back at the original picture, angle S and angle T are angle 2 and angle 4. So I do have a reason that I could mark angle 2 and angle 4 the same. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But angle 2 was already the same as 1, so I'm going to mark that angle 1 is now the same as 2 and 4. But now if I look at the picture, all 4 of my angles are marked the same because of my reasoning. So I have come to the conclusion that 1 and 3 are the same. So I've got to write down everything that I was just saying. So let's start with the given. We started that RV was parallel to ST, and we started with QS was congruent to QT because it was given to us. The first thing I marked after saying that those two lines were parallel, RV and ST, was that angle 1 and angle 2 were the same. And I said that because I had corresponding angles. So my corresponding angles are congruent. But if I stop right there, I'm saying something incorrect. Corresponding angles are not always congruent. Corresponding angles are congruent if my lines are parallel, and that's a very important phrase in this reason. Well, after I got done marking that angle 1 and angle 2 were the same, I marked angle 3 and angle 4 for the exact same reason. So I don't need to make a new statement. I'll just list that underneath statement number 2 for the same reason. Corresponding angles are congruent if the lines are parallel. After that, I was done looking at the parallel lines, and I was looking at QS as congruent to QT. And what that led me to say was that the opposite angles S and T, which are labeled 2 and 4, were also the same. So my statement was that angle 2 and angle 4 were the same. So if angle 2 and angle 4 are the same, it's because if those two sides in a triangle are congruent, then the angles opposite those sides are also congruent. And then statement number 4, we can get away with a big transitive property. Whenever you notice that everything in your picture is suddenly marked the same, 1 was the same as 2, 2 was the same as 4, and 4 was the same as 3, because of all these reasons, I can simply say, well, angle 1 and angle 3 ended up being the same because of the transitive property. And it's all in my proof. 1 matched 2, but 2 matched 4, and 4 matched 3. So cutting out all the middlemen, 1 eventually ended up being congruent to 3 because of the transitive property.